So I was supposed to have this very put together vision board video today. And then my brain said, that's adorable. No. So instead, we're doing what actually helps, knitting and talking honestly about New Year's anxiety without pretending that my life is put together. So I'm working on the baby blanket that I have been working on for months, and I am bound and determined to get this thing done. If for no other reason than, well, a couple reasons. One, the baby is born. It was born Thanksgiving weekend. Happy Thanksgiving. But on top of that, I have other things I want to knit. I have a new niece or nephew coming in July, and I'd like to knit something for them. And I have a couple of projects that I want to work on for myself. We know how I feel about gift knitting and, our sometimes ability to put other people in front of our own needs. So I am bound and determined that I am going to get this done so I can do something for me. And the next time I make a blanket or any large project like this, I will be using a bigger yarn. So I've gone off topic already. If your New Year vibe is less than glow up and a little bit more slow down, then this is the right place for you. All right, let's talk about why this time of year feels so loud. Every ad right now is screaming, new year, new you, new job, new mindset, new planner. And I'm sitting here like I can barely function with the old me, let alone rack up the energy to create a new one. When you already live with mental health stuff, January can feel like a performance review that you didn't ask for. Everybody wants to reassess. They want to look at their past year, their past few years, and figure out how to improve, how to be a new you. Everyone's posting their 47 goals, and you're just trying to not shut down. I had this whole vision board concept plan. Pinterest, inspo, quotes, the works. I even filmed most of it. I filmed all my A-roll, but for some reason, I just couldn't do it. And then my brain basically trashed the whole idea. I've still got it. I will probably put it out in another couple weeks or so. But for some reason, my brain just froze on the thought of editing it, putting it all together. I wasn't feeling it. So then, of course, anxiety jumps in because anxiety. She's always there. And she jumps in with, if you don't start the year perfectly, the whole year is ruined, which I know logically makes no sense at all. But the brain doesn't always go with logic. We like to think it does, but that funny little thing in our brain called the amygdala. Are y'all familiar with that? The amygdala has this nice way of throwing in that fear, that anxiety when it's least needed. With schizoaffective bipolar type, my energy levels are not predictable. For those of you that don't know what schizoaffective disorder is, in my case, I have the bipolar type, which means I have the drastic highs and lows of bipolar disorder, but I have the fun little visual, audio, sometimes olfactory hallucinations that go with schizophrenia, which basically TLDR means even the voices in my head have mood swings. It can be annoying. It can be a pain. I'm going to just take this out and throw it over there. So anyway, some days are launch the thing, and some days we showered and fed ourselves, and that's the win. There's times where the only reason I'm able to get out of bed in the morning is because Cora has to go potty. And then there's other days where I am up at 6 a.m. and I am at the gym, in the pool, or working out with not even an alarm. So if you're looking at everyone's planners and feeling frozen, that's not laziness. That's your nervous system overloaded. You're not behind. You're not defective. You're a human in a body that's trying really hard. Let's admit it. There is so much going on out there. The world is so loud right now. There's so many, everybody's in their feels. I went out yesterday after to go get a few things at the store, which is difficult for me. That's why I have Cora to help me out. And despite the fact that it was the day after Christmas, you could just feel the tension in so many people as you're walking along. And that's hard to manage sometimes when your brain is overly sensitive to things, which is why instead of another goal, I'm over here with yarn like a little goblin. Actually, it's green, just like a goblin. So, why knitting? Why not doom scroll and call it a day? There's something about the rhythm of the stitches, the little click of the needles that tells my brain we're safe. We know what comes next. My fingers have a job, so my brain doesn't have to audition every intrusive thought for the lead role. I've had days where panic was so bad that the only thing I could do was sit and knit garter stitch. An hour later, I'm not magically cured, but I'm less on fire. My heart rate's down. The edges of everything feel better. I had, just like so many people, had a bit of a kind of a rough Christmas day. It wasn't Christmas actually. My part of my family, we celebrated early, but for the Christmas, I had a bit of a rough start to that. I had a disagreement with a family member, and I really wasn't so much angry with them. I was disappointed in them, in how they came, in how they stated their side of that disagreement, and it hurt. It not only hurt me, but like I said, I was disappointed, and I was almost missed my yarn over. And so when I got home from it, really the only thing that helped me kind of get out of that was to be able to sit down and focus on knitting my blanket here. It's not a garter stitch blanket, but it has large enough pieces of the same repetitive stitch that I'm able to relax a little bit with it. And it really helped. When my thoughts are racing, I literally tell myself, okay, just to the end of this row. The problem comes in, I also have polyneuropathy. The problem comes in when my hands start cramping. So that tends to throw literally a kink in the works, but we move on. But if I keep telling myself I just have to get to the end of this row again and again and again, pretty soon I realize I've made some real progress here. I've actually got chunks of progress that I can see, and that feeling of accomplishment adds to the relaxation that the repetitive stitches has given me. So if you know January is hard for you, consider having an emergency project. I've got one that I've got planned, if I can finish my blanket, and it's got super simple stitches. There's not a lot of counting, no charts, nothing really complicated. Just comfort rows that I can do when my brain is fried. Obviously, this doesn't replace my meds or therapy or support groups, but it's not about knit instead of treatment. It's knitting in addition to treatment. It's just one more tool in my mental health toolbox, a very soft, very yarn covered tool. And that leads me to something that I've really been thinking about this year. What success even means when your brain and body have opinions. I used to work full time. Plus, I also volunteered full time. I rarely slept. I was productive. At night, I was very productive at work. I would literally work myself into the ground, and then I would crash. And it was from the outside, it probably seemed like a very productive lifestyle, but from the inside, it was not a healthy lifestyle. So, the point of my January is not to reinvent myself, it's just to gently keep going. I'm still, even after Actually, it will be 10 years since I was forced to leave work come this spring. And even after all this time, I'm still struggling with that definition of new me. So I'm not going to have a new me anymore. I'm going to have a slightly kinder to me. We don't need new year, new me. I need a new year, be kind to yourself year. This year, instead of I will become a completely different person, I'm focusing on three things. Three things here. Showing up to my NAMI groups and classes. I have a 9-week course that I'm teaching that starts in at the end of January and goes through March, once a week. I am going to make cozy, honest content like this without burning myself out. I've got some plans. I'm hoping you'll like them. We'll see. We'll see how you do. And even if you don't, I'll probably still do it anyway. Because that's being kind to myself and actually treating my mental and physical health like they matter. I'm going to go for more walks out in the Pacific Northwest forest out here. You can see here in my backyard. And I'm going to take you along with me on some of those. And we can talk. Cora, of course, will be with me. She's over here snoozing on the couch. And we'll see how that goes. And being able to, I want to be able to take that time. Success this month might look like taking my meds, knitting 3 rows, answering an email, and not hating myself because I didn't reorganize my entire life. If all you do this month is keep breathing and make a few stitches, that still counts. You're not behind on some cosmic upgrade schedule. There is not some plan out there in the universe trying to direct you to knit a certain number of sweaters or to schedule a certain number of volunteer hours or to put in a certain amount of overtime at your job. Looking here in this time that we've spoken, it's been about 15 minutes. I have managed, it's not a lot of visible progress because it is a blanket, but I've managed to actually do about 3/4 of a row. It's not, doesn't look like much. It's not visible progress per se, but it's not nothing. That's kind of the theme here. Small rows, small days, still add up. You are not broken because you're not hyped up for the new year. You're a human with a sensitive nervous system in a very, very loud world. Tell me in the comments what's on your needles, what creative thing are you working on, and what's one tiny realistic intention you have for yourself for January. Like, remember to drink water level tiny. If you want more cozy, honest knitting and mental health chats instead of hustle culture, you could subscribe and hang out here. No globe required, just you, your yarn, and your very real brain. Knit, unwind, repeat. You're doing enough.